Welcome to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert, your host. With my co-host Craig Chrysler, The Honest Media is a revolt against the dishonest mainstream media that publishes opinions as objective truth and conceals important facts when they don't suit their agenda. We consider ourselves part of the alt-right, and we make our bias known. We like Donald Trump, and we think he will make America great again. And if you're watching someone ever who claims they have no bias, you can be almost assured they are lying to you. Everybody has a bias. In this week's episode, we're discussing Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks and the person who leaked the DNC emails. We'll also be discussing more evidence of Hillary's failing health and lack of stamina, an attempt by YouTube and by extension Google to push the transgender narrative further into the mainstream, Hillary Clinton's inability to admit she made a mistake, and my personal favorite topic of the day, something we've been waiting for the right moment to sink our teeth into, the Morning Joe meltdown. Now, for those not in the know, Joe Scarborough of Morning Joe on MSNBC is, or maybe used to be, a personal friend of Donald Trump. He's been photographed at Trump's exclusive club, Mar-a-Lago, and they used to have a very friendly discussions on his early morning talk program. Until something happened. The DNC leaks reveal a member of the DNC sending a brief email to another member. The subject of the email, Morning Joe. The message text was simple. Blanking Joe, claiming the system is rigged. Party against him. We need to complain to their producer. Suddenly, Morning Joe became a very anti-Trump program. The two rail on Trump for anything he says, and while this is really nothing new, they recently took their vitriol to a new level. And before I go any further, we need to point out that Trump loves to play four-dimensional chess. The day before this spat, Trump retweeted a Morning Joe video of Hillary Clinton referring to blacks as super predators and saying they must be brought to heel. Yes, that's a real thing, Hillary said. And remember, Trump tweeted this the day before this spat occurred, and it was on a Morning Joe segment. Now, as if Joe were not bad enough, he's accompanied by Mika Brzezinski, daughter of internationally famous globalist Dr. Zbigniew Brzezinski. This fact is important, and more on this in a minute. And Mika Brzezinski, who is recently divorced, also important, hold on, has said on the segment, Trump belts it out like he's had a lot to drink, calling Trump a drunk. And my guess is this is what set Trump off. Trump's older brother, Freddie Trump, died of alcoholism at a young age. Trump says watching his brother go down that destructive path motivated him to never try alcohol or cigarettes. So Trump does what he always does. He took to Twitter, where his audience is undeniably larger and more loyal than Morning Joe's. He tweeted, "Tried watching low-rated Morning Joe this morning. Unwatchable. Morning Mika is off the wall. A neurotic and not very bright mess. Someday, when things calm down, I'll tell the real story of @JoeNBC and his very insecure longtime girlfriend @Morning Mika. Two clowns." Morning Joe needs to disclose how much they're getting paid from Hillary Clinton to spread lies about Trump. So this perfect storm, this Megyn Kelly 2.0, trended on Twitter for 24 consecutive hours. But what happened when you clicked the trending topic? Well, Trump's retweet of Hillary Clinton calling black youth super predators was the first item on the page. That's right, Trump used the media's love for manufacturing controversies to get one of the single most racist things Hillary has ever said out front and center. And by the way, Trump's accusation that the two are dating is not new or even original. Page 6, the celebrity gossip website, claims an insider source told them Mika and Joe were dating all the way back in June of last year. This year. An NBC insider told us everybody at 30 Rock knows they are a couple. They are constantly together, they arrive and leave events together, even on the weekends. They are each other's publicists and finish each other's sentences. It's the worst kept secret in TV. And now, why does Mika hate Trump? Well, I have a guess. Her dad, Dr. Zbigniew Brzezinski, is an internationally known globalist who thought it would be a great idea to fund the Mujahideen, which is now the antiquated word for what we call jihadists. You see, back in the 70s and 80s, the people who raised their sons to join ISIS were our allies, according to Dr. Brzezinski. Dr. Brzezinski was, of course, no fan of Russia, at the time the Soviet Union, but he still doesn't like Russia, which Trump wants to have friendly relations with. from a 1997 interview with Brzezinski. We engaged in that effort in a collaborative sense with the Saudis, the Egyptians, the British, the Chinese, and we started providing weapons to the Mujahideen from various sources. Again, for example, some Soviet arms from the Egyptians and the Chinese. So Joe and Mika, two globalists caught in a not-so-secret love affair, pressured on one hand by the DNC and on the other by Mika's globalist daddy, to spit any and all vitriol they can at Trump. As Trump would say, sad. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler, and we're going to keep on talking about Dr. Zbigniew, Dr. Brzezinski. What is with these names? You know, at least he had the decency to name his daughter Mika. And when you told me that Mika was his daughter, and he was this guy who has basically planned the destruction of the Middle East, I kind of thought, you know, okay, I know you're losing your hair, but take the tinfoil off. They've got better hats out there. Yeah. And when it actually turned out to be true, like, I just went to Wikipedia and I'm like, okay, oh my God, Mika's his daughter. Yeah. It all just kind of makes sense. Yeah. And you know a little bit more about him than me, so what do you know about this guy that I left out?
I used to be a lot more knowledgeable on him than I am now, but basically what I know about him, he's the guy who designed the whole plan to radicalize the Mujahideen to fight the Russians, who came up with funneling them all the arms and munitions and everything they still have to the day, which eventually led to that turning into ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and everything else we have now is directly accredited to Zbigniew.
Because he thought that it would be a good way to fight Soviet Russia at the time. Mm-hmm. And what that, I mean, that's what he admits to. And now what do they always say? That, you know, we're fighting using Soviet weapons almost as much as we are U.S. weapons, because, you know, we fund them. And that's exactly what he admits to in this 97 interview I dug up, which one thing I thought was interesting about this guy, he endorsed Obama in 2008, and that was really the last time he was in the public eye.
Yeah, he used to be around a lot around 2007, 2008. He was a weekly guest almost on Morning Joe.
Which that's just baffling, isn't it? You know, it's supposed to be the token Republican show. And I guess for a while, Dr. Brzezinski was a Republican, only because he felt the Democrats weren't war hawkish enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who is on the Council of Foreign Relations, which Ted Cruz, even though his wife was also on the Council of Foreign Relations, Ted Cruz called a, pernicious den of snakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the CFR is if you don't know who they are, it's a globalist, anti-American, pro-world government organization.
Oh, yeah. And you look at when the Bilderberg Group list gets leaked and you cross-reference it with the CFR, it's like, yep.
Which is funny, Morning Joe, they also have the head of the CFR on there almost weekly.
Do they really?
Yeah, his name's escaping me right now, but I'll probably think of it.
I don't doubt it at all. And it just...
Richard Haas or something like that.
Oh, that's right, Haas. Haas, I know that name. And I find it interesting because, you know, we can say it's partially the emails, the producer coming down on Joe, but I think it has to at least be a little bit, now Donald Trump is being taken seriously, Daddy's not going to sit there and let little girl say all these things about Donald Trump if it, you know... It's bad for globalists, it's bad for Dr. Brzezinski to see his life's work of creating tension with Russia and fundamentally changing and radicalizing the Middle East. It's bad for business for them if Trump gets in.
No, yeah, of course it is. He openly says, what's wrong with being friends with Russia? This Z-big guy has a literal bloodlust for Russia, just hates him.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, and maybe it's because he lived in the Soviet Union and he saw these horrible things happen. But, you know, Russia is as much as any country is nowadays, a capitalist country.
Yeah.
They're not using force to get what they want for the most part. It's an economic power in the world because they've opened up the free market. That was the whole reason we didn't like the Soviet Union, or at least one of the main ones. Ronald Reagan said it very well. He said the people are living in horrible conditions because of socialism, and that's what we want to try to fix for the people. And, it was a global message of peace through freedom. Now, why do we hate Russia? This still escapes me. We ask this on every other episode.
Yeah, we were so against communist countries that we had the Cold War, the Vietnam War.
And then when they're not communist anymore, we still hate them.
So on and so on. But yet we're best friends with China, a communist country. So where's the hypocrisy?
And China made some good steps in going towards the free market. And when they did, like with Russia and like with anybody who goes towards the free market, except I think China, just by virtue of having so many people, I think they brought 680 million people out of poverty when they finally adopted some capitalism into their system. And it's like the same thing happened in Russia. So how come Russia, bad, China, well, okay, they own all our debt. That's a significant part of what it is with China. You can't
China owns all of our debt. I think a large part of the American harbors, tons of farmland, even here in Kansas, they own millions of acres, I think.
Of course, Russia owns our uranium, so maybe we should be a little bit nicer to Russia. They own 20%.
Well, Hillary gave it to them. So.
That's right. And now Hillary pretends she's some big enemy of Russia, and she's going to bring them to heel.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me into, that's what sparked the whole topic. Or in my mind, okay, so Trump does this all the time. He creates his own fake little controversy, and that causes the media to do this big backlash. And then what happens when you click that trending link? Well, all of a sudden it comes up, Hillary Clinton refers to blacks as super predators, says we must bring them to heel. That was a segment that Morning Joe aired. Because, they get some things right. And so whenever somebody would go to learn about this controversy, that's what they see. And Hillary Clinton is just moronically extending this idea that she doesn't respect black people. I don't know if you saw the Black Lives Matter when they met with Hillary Clinton about a week ago. And they had a long conversation, and I'm taking this only a little bit out of context. This is how bad what she said is. She said, well, if that is your position, then I'll only talk to white people about how to fix this problem. And you can see the other Black Lives Matter actor was like, what?
Yeah.
It
was hard to make out everything they were saying, but I was surprised when she said that. And they were pretty nice to her even after she said that, which was surprising too.
Well, and to be fair, the context was they're both idiots. They're all idiots. They're all just so idiots. But Black Lives Matter says, you got to do stuff for us. Hillary Clinton says, well, we need some kind of legislative agenda we can push. We can't just make white people apologize in public. And the Black Lives Matter person says, well, that's like victim blaming, telling us we have to tell you what to do. You tell us what to do first. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Black people want white people to tell them what to do?
Well, I did hear the part where they asked her, what are you going to do to change people's hearts? She said, I don't believe in changing people's hearts, just policies.
Oh, yeah, she said, I believe in changing structures and stuff like that, which makes sense. But what they really wanted, and what she didn't do, was an apology for the 96 crime bill? Is that right, or 4?
Sounds
96 or 4. And that increased the federal prison budget by, I think, 60%, something crazy like that. That's what they wanted the apology for, because they're saying that, and this is maybe the one thing that Black Lives Matter is right about. They're not getting any progress by burning down black cities and putting more people into these situations, but the prison situation.
Yeah.
With the for-profit prisons, which are being phased out. That's the one thing they're right about, and Hillary Clinton increased the funding for that.
Yeah, the Clintons did a lot of stuff. I think they were behind mandatory sentencing.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were big supporters of the idea that crack is 15 times, or I think it's more like 150 times worse than coke, when it's just a...
Well, that's because they did coke, not crack.
Yeah. Well, and that's what, and again, it's the one thing that I will agree with the Black Lives Matter on. They're absolutely right. It is not right when you make the drug that is predominantly used by black people, that is the exact same drug in a different format that white people use, 15 times worse. That's like saying heroin is horrific, but people who abuse prescription painkillers, that's totally different, and they can get by with that. I mean, That's the Clintons. That's what they did. And yet
Yeah.
somehow, like Trump says, the Clintons are supposed to be the party that represents African Americans. Totally insane. And unfortunately, I don't think Black Lives Matter quite figured that out when they had their unfortunate little run-in with Hillary Clinton. This is The Honest Media. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler, and you know, we all get tired. I used to criticize this guy who I used to know who would go on and on and on about the gay agenda. And I think what we're finding out is it's not a gay agenda. It's the progressive agenda to use identity politics to tear us all apart from each other. And here they are on Facebook in the form of Google/YouTube. YouTube posted an ad, right, that was for their new YouTube Music app. And it's just the creepiest, nastiest thing. This dude, right, just a dude, he starts listening to a song. What's the song?
I don't
Okay, I thought maybe you'd have a better idea than me. But it's some trendy song. And he starts like taking his clothes off. And I'm like, what is happening here? And then he puts his bra on and his wig on and he does his makeup and he goes out the door and it's like, your music, your way, blah, be yourself, listen to YouTube Music.
Music is your life.
That's right. And just like your life, you can choose whatever kind of gender you want to go with. And YouTube tries to do this to, you know, oh, we're going to reach out to young people by making mental illness look sexy. And this is what the comments look like. This is redeeming to society. This makes me so happy. 251 likes as of a couple hours before this was recorded. Stop allowing for this to happen. All this does is brainwash young kids into thinking it's okay to be this different. It's not, and it's a mental disease. That's the top comment on the post, right? Next one. This gives me no desire to download the app, but rather the opposite. I don't condemn those who choose this lifestyle, but as so many others have commented, this is sort of brainwashing is harmful to the younger generations. And then, of course, it kind of devolves, and this I just think is it's very telling. Where did it go, actually? Is this the one I want? Yeah. Okay, this is a transgender person. LOL, I'm transgender, and for those saying everything that happens with the brain out of the ordinary is mental illness, no, do your research. Okay, now wait a minute. Out of the ordinary, mental illness, what do you call it? Just being brain chemically different?
Full potato.
Well, yeah. And now, this wouldn't be such a big deal. First of all, I'm of the belief that, you know, these people, maybe there is some scientific evidence that, you know, it can be a brain in the wrong body or whatever, but I think the scientific evidence is clear that they need therapy.
It's a mental illness, for sure.
Yeah, dysphoria is a mental disease.
It's like having a cat that thinks it's a dog. There's something wrong with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Now, it's not the same as being gay. That's different. We have scientific evidence that shows, okay, epigenetics, if the person has these 5 genes, they can get turned on in these environments,
Well, that's
and that
still,
makes sense.
they still, that's largely a choice.
Well, it's
Even Milo says that. So.
Well, that's for some he says that, but I think the evidence is clear that it's epigenetic. You know, somebody can be born with these certain genes. That's not saying that they're going to be gay, but if they are raised without a father, or they have this influence or that influence, then it might be turned on. But this cannot be said of gay people. This is from August 16th, 2015. Wow, just about a year ago. From USA Today. Transgender people face alarmingly high risk of suicide. I mean, that's sad. And then we've got YouTube, Google pushing this way of thinking, okay, it's okay. How is that going to help these people? If somebody has the inkling, you know, they start hormone therapy, they distort their body horrifically. Maybe that's what happens with these people. They think, oh, crap, I just have a mental disease. And then, well, look what I've done to myself. I'm mutilated. I look bizarre.
And what's really messed up, you know, they're letting kids in elementary school, like I read reports, first, second graders start hormone replacement to change their gender. As young as that, I mean,
Now, you can't have
when
sex
you're-
in this
when
country, in
you're-
most of the country, until you're at least 16. Most of the places, 18.
Yeah.
But apparently when you're like 12 or younger, when you're 8 years
Like
old.
6 and
you
8
could be
years
like,
old,
oh,
yeah.
you know, I like playing with Barbie dolls. I think I'm a girl. That's insane.
And these parents are supporting it and actually taking them to doctors to have this done. I mean,
Because it's trendy.
when
you
I
know?
was a second grader, I wanted to be a transformer. I mean, parents didn't take me to get robot arms put on.
Well, that's just anti-species freedom.
Yeah.
And your parents were a couple of bigots.
Yes. Dang it. I could so be a Decepticon right now.
Maybe you are. Maybe you're deceiving us all.
Uh-huh.
I read one report where in an elementary school, the administration sent out a memo saying we are no longer allowing teachers to address our children as boys and girls. It's
Yeah.
getting that far. It's insane.
And they said that this was coming for 20, 40 years. People have been talking about this, and here it finally is. And this is all over the country. Can't call them boys, can't call them girls.
was
They
it
don't even
Harvard?
let them wear pink, or they don't let them wear blue. I mean, the generation of kids that are like 12 and under right now are going to be the most messed up people to ever walk the earth when they're older.
My hope is that it's all going to be cool for them, so they're going to just start rebelling from it instantly. You know, they're going to be like, no, that's stupid.
Well, that's what's
stupid."
happening now with the alt-right movement, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. You know, somebody said, you know, there's a lot of people on image boards like 4chan who are in the alt-right. And the quip is, you know, this is a board that has consistently just been edgy and countercultural, and whatever the mainstream likes, they're going to do the opposite. And how sick is our society at this point in time when doing the opposite of what's popular is embracing traditional values?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. But what I think it was Harvard. Was it Harvard? Where they are trying to ban the expression, or at least say that you shouldn't use the expression "you guys."
Oh, yeah.
You guys, because that is sexist.
It's a derogatory.
Well, and it
You know, I've always
assumes
thought it's weird
genders.
when everybody, even to a group of girls, they call them, hey guys, or, but whatever. People
It's a
have done that
Midwest
forever.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was New York Times did a dialect type deal where you can go take a little test and say, well, I call it this. I address a group of people this way. I do this. I do this. And it's, you know, you look at what happens if you say you guys. It's just straight up Midwest. It's a very Kansan way to talk.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit further south they say y'all. You know,
Yeah.
what is that going to be wrong? Because, no, y'all is
I
probably
say that once in a while, and people look at me like, where are you from?
the beard should give it away. You're from the Bayou with your Duck Dynasty brethren.
Yep.
But
They kicked me out of the family.
not religious enough for them.
Yeah, something happened.
Kicked you out
Can't
of
talk
the
about it.
Got a legal order on that.
Uh-huh.
And it's really just the degradation of discourse to where you can't say you guys.
Yeah.
You can't
And they've
address
been
little
banning
boys
the
as
term
boys.
mother and father in these schools too.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sure you've seen
bizarre.
that. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's the newest thing. There's no mother, there's no father, there's no male, there's no female. Pretty soon we're all going to be, 50 years, we're all going to be like cone heads with sealed up orifices and knobs on our back, I guess.
We're going to be addressing each other as Zer
Yeah.
with an X. Or you know, like I like on Facebook, I think you can just choose your own pronouns now. And so right now I'm Trump or Trumpkin. But I kind of want to change it to attack helicopter.
Yeah.
I don't know what my gender is. I guess I'm gender fluid.
You can be an attack helicopter.
I feel like that's how I feel inside. I feel like I'm trapped in the wrong body, and right now I should be soaring in the skies over Iraq, raining death down on the ISIS. That's what I feel.
Okay, well, you can do that. And I'm going to be a transformer.
Gonna be a transformer. and so now I guess that I would be fighting you as an attack helicopter.
Well, I can turn into a jet and be with you or something, so that's cool.
Well, dang, Transformer sounds way cooler than Apache attack
Yeah, I know.
helicopter. And you can be literally anything, and then you can
Uh-huh.
just fold and combobulate your way back down into
That's
being
right.
a person, right?
Uh-huh.
Dang. Well, I may need to change my gender again. Yeah, that's the beauty of being gender fluid, is I can be literally
This is
anything
how
I want.
ridiculous society is. It's not even society. I mean, this is being pushed on us by these globalist scum who want to. You got to destroy the family to change the culture, just like we talked about.
Yeah.
I think last episode how Hitler said to do it. And that's what they're doing. They're telling the kids, "You're not a boy, you're not a girl no more." They're going to go home and say, "You can't call me son, you can't call me daughter. You got to call me flim flam, whatever the heck they're coming up with.
Well, and you see this even in college campuses. You know, yeah, I can only imagine there are kids who go home after on a college break, or even just after class, and they say, "I'm sorry, Dad, I can't deal with this discussion right now. I need a safe space. I need a safe space." This is our safe space, the Honest Media. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Honest Media. So, does Hillary Clinton take trucker drugs?
Unfortunately, she does.
It's looking like she probably does. And Julian Assange, and the pure steel set on this guy. I mean, over the weekend there was an assassination attempt on his life. Somebody was scaling the Ecuadorian embassy in Britain, and he was caught, and he didn't get apprehended by police.
Yeah, he got away somehow.
You know, and that to me spells out, okay, this guy is a professional. He's not some lunatic. He knew what he was doing, and he had an escape plan.
Yeah, that's a big red flag. If the guy got caught and then got away, how the heck did that happen?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that should not happen. And that just kind of tells me, well,
unless they let it happen,
it could be. Well, then again, just steel, big brass set on this guy. A couple days later, WikiLeaks sends out a tweet, and they just have a screenshot of this one. I don't think they've released it yet. Clinton and decision fatigue. WikiLeaks.org, they've got a hyperlink. 2 months later, looked into wake-up pills. And so Hillary Clinton was sent an email, subject, "Do you suffer from decision fatigue?" Worth a read. And wow, that is spooky descriptive. So basically somebody is sending this article to Hillary Clinton. And a month later, somebody sends another article. A guy named Jake Sullivan sent an article about Provigil, however you want to say it. And basically what this is, here, I'll just read the description. Provigil is used to treat excessive sleepiness caused by narcolepsy or shift work sleep disorder. That's sleepiness during scheduled waking hours among people who work at a night shift or on rotating shifts. It is also often prescribed to treat excessive sleepiness in patients with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and multiple sclerosis. Additionally, it has also gained a following among students, truckers, and others who want to stay awake for an extended period of time. And it is the first effective stimulant with no significant potential for abuse. It's unknown. It works. The way it works is unknown. It seems to slow the release of GABA, a sleep promoter in the brain. It's taking me back to freshman psychology. And it can be used for 2 or 3 day stretches at a time, with few known side effects and, again, a little risk of addiction. And doesn't that match Hillary's MO to a T? She's out there in force for 2 or 3 days. She disappears and she's resting for a week. She's back on for 2 or 3 days and she's resting.
Yep.
And this is from the WikiLeaks.
That does exactly, actually. Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly, yeah.
She's in the scene 2 or 3 days and she's gone 3 or 4 days.
And then, it makes me wonder whether it's seizures or it's something else, but she has these fits where then they come up and what is may or may not be Valium is what they give her. And so I'm like, this trucker drug gets her so amped, and then they gotta come bring her back down with some Valium. This woman is basically just a corpse that they shuffle around, stuffing her full of syringes. Here, you do this, now do this. Okay, how you feeling? Okay, get out there, do the speech.
It sounds like she got Hitler's old doctor who just pumped him full of drugs day and night to keep him rolling.
Yeah, well, and Hitler had, what is it believed that he had?
Parkinson's.
Yeah. Same exact deal. And you can see in some of his later speeches, kind of like
the
Bill
hand tremors,
Clinton. Well, and at the very least, I think this tells us that Hillary Clinton is so low energy that she has to take trucker drugs to stay awake. Or at least they were suggesting the possibility of taking trucker drugs to stay awake.
Well, and another thing to confirm that she possibly does have Parkinson's, because there's been 5 or 6 different reports now that hence that she has Parkinson's, and here's something else.
Right. Well,
if she does, we need to know about it.
Well, we should.
Yeah.
And you meant well, and I'm of the, there's other people out there, and they're going to be in the comments section, they're probably there right now, who are saying, It's not right to talk about a presidential candidate's health. You can still be a good president and not have good health. It's like, oh yeah, right. Where were you when the Democrats were criticizing Reagan, saying he has Alzheimer's and he can't be president? Complete BS.
Reagan, McCain.
McCain, the poor guy had to sit there like at a 6-hour
Ron Paul.
deal.
They even criticizing that guy was a beast. Did like 50 miles on a bike every day.
And he's still out there kicking now.
Yeah.
You know, what is it, 8 years after he ran the first time? Or the second time.
Yeah, and she can't even drink a cup of coffee without spazzing out because she has so much trucker drugs in her. Apparently,
you should try the black chai.
Yeah.
You should try the black chai.
Boy, you tried.
and then you see the reporter say, well, I didn't think anything of it. And, you know, this is the video. We're referencing the video where Hillary has the apparent seizure where she's doing strange things with her head and one eye stays still and the other one spazzes out. And then after she comes out of it, she goes, you should really try the black chai.
Yeah. That coffee sent them trucker drugs over the edge.
That's right. A little bit too much caffeine in that chai tea. She ordered the caffeine-free version. You know, that explains why she was trying to get that beer. It's a little bit of a depressant, and it's 9/10 of the glass is head, which is more head than Hillary's ever seen in her life.
Oh, probably true.
But it really does explain a lot. And what I find fascinating about this whole Assange thing, let's back up to that for a minute. You know, he, assassination attempt. Panic for Julian Assange as intruder scales Ecuadorian embassy wall. From the Express. Security was scrambled at the London building, sparking an international concern. Assange was the target of the intruder. A statement was put out by WikiLeaks the following morning. It stated, 16 minutes ago at 2:47 a.m., a cat burglar scaled the sidewall plus window of the Ecuadorian embassy in London, fled after being caught by security. And back up for less than a month, August 11th, 2016. From USA Politics Now, Hillary Clinton's strategist says kill Julian Assange because a dead man can't leak stuff. This is a Clinton surrogate. This is a strategist. And he's also a CNN host. The CNN host says the way to deal with Julian Assange is to illegally shoot the son of a Democratic strategist, CNN host, former Fox News host, and Hillary Clinton supporter Bob Beckel has figured out the way to deal with Julian Assange. That is the thorn that is in Hillary Clinton's side. Julian Assange's latest revelation that has Bob Beckel calling for an assassination is the DNC email hack. And here's exactly what Beckel said. I mean, a dead man can't leak stuff. The guy's a traitor, a treasonous, and he has broken every law of the United States. The guy ought to be, and I am not for the death penalty. So if I am not for the death penalty, there's only one way to do it. Illegally shoot the SOB. Now, do you remember, and then we'll leave off with this, but do you remember, first of all, shoot the SOB. Someone scales the walls, tries to shoot the SOB. Nobody's going to hold Clinton or her surrogates responsible for this. But do you remember when Trump said, you know, maybe the Second Amendment people can do something about that? He's calling for her assassination. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was such a joke.
But Hillary does the same thing, and somebody tries to assassinate the guy.
Well, somehow everybody that has something against the Clinton turns up dead, so...
Those suicides are really bad, especially when they shoot themselves 5 times in the back of the head with their hands duct taped.
Hit by trains, a lot of them too.
Tragic thing. We'll be right back after the break, assuming we're still alive. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler. We're talking about Hillary and her often confused state. That's a direct quote, by the way. That's a direct quote from Hillary's top aide, member of the Clinton campaign staff, potential Saudi Arabian spy, Huma Abedin. And this is from the Daily Mail. Newly released email shows top aide Huma Abedin warned colleagues Hillary was often confused and needed hand-holding about calls with foreign leaders. Have you been going over emails with her? Have you been going over calls with her tomorrow? Emails. Hillary doesn't know anything about emails. That's a message sent to Huma. And Huma responds, "She was in bed for a nap by time I heard what she's had in the 8 a.m. call. We'll go over with her. Very important to do that. She's often confused."
Jeez.
She's often confused. This is before the trucker drugs, apparently.
Yeah.
Let's help her be alert. There's another one. Oh, where was it? Was it in this one or was it a different one? There's an email that was recently released where Hillary, it was the Pay for Play article. I've got it somewhere in front of me, but I won't dig it up right now. And essentially, Hillary Clinton sold time with the State Department in exchange for Clinton Foundation donations. New evidence of that. Mm-hmm. And what happened is somebody sent Huma an email asking, "We need this to happen. Can you help it along?" Huma says, "I can try. I feel bad about asking this." The guy says, "Then don't worry about it." And then he says, "I'll try Hillary in the morning. She doesn't want to take the call until she knows how she will feel." It's like every single email they release just shows Hillary being weak and confused and no stamina.
Yeah, something's going on for sure. I mean, what the heck?
You know, we talked about the Black Lives Matter.
How is she going to do anything? She takes 15 naps a day.
Yeah.
What is she? Sleeps through every important phone call that happens.
If she's on this trucker drug, she can only go for 2 or 3 days at a time. Then she has to take a couple days off to recover.
Yeah. I guess if something bad happens and she's just coming off of her drugs, it's going to take 3-4 days for her to do anything about it.
That's what creepy Tim Kaine's for.
Yeah,
that guy's just creepy.
He is.
I hope Trump calls him creepy because that's what he is. That should be his nickname. You know, I wanted it to be creepy Uncle Joe Biden.
But
this guy's just creepy.
He has a bunch of weird ties to somebody. Who was it?
Well, Islamic Care and other Islamic groups. Indirectly, he's tied to the Muslim Brotherhood.
And then Hillary supposedly, I guess, ran by the Saudis through that Huma, who is probably going to be the real president.
Could be. I mean, that brings something up. You know, she worked for a Middle Eastern, I can't remember if it was Saudi Arabia, I'm sure it was Saudi Arabia, spy agency for 10 years before getting involved with Hillary. But, you know, going back to the Black Lives Matter meeting Hillary had with the protesters, and it was a fairly brief meeting, probably 15 minutes in total, in which she made a total ass of herself. And the Black Lives Matter people said, "We need white people to tell us what to do." Like, what the... But one thing that I found interesting is this guy asked this long-winded, very confusing, disjointed question, bringing up all kinds of weird facts and evidence. And as soon as he finishes posing the question, did you watch the video? You may have, but
I did. It was no, I didn't see the long version.
So, as soon as he finishes asking the question, Hillary goes, and an aide pops in. "Hey, we're actually on a really tight time limit, and so I just need to let you know that." And the guy goes, "Well, I spent a lot of time asking this question. Can she please answer it?" He goes, "Oh, no, yeah, I want her to answer the question. I'll give her time to answer the question. I'm just letting you know we're on a really tight time crunch." Like, giving Hillary Clinton all this time to process it is what I'm thinking as soon as the question is asked. And just on a really tight time schedule, we just need to get her out of here, just letting you know that it needs to be a quick answer. And then, like, a couple seconds after that exchange, Hillary Clinton goes, "Well, you know, it's a very good question and it needs a complex answer." And then she starts answering and she just kind of goes on and on and on and on and on.
Politician BS.
And what's weird is it's like they're standing like probably closer together than you and me right now. They're, you know, shoulder to shoulder. And she's doing all of this type stuff and saying, "You just need to do this so we can come together, and that's what I'm trying to do in my campaign." And she's like talking with her hands and like she's giving a speech or something. I'm like, Jesus.
Well, yeah, if you've seen her talking to other people, she's like right in their face and blah, blah, blah,
and she's
blah,
doing
blah.
this. And the first thing we need to do and the second thing we need to do. And that's how, you know, you can get a stadium full of white people all saying they're sorry, and that's not going to work. So what we need is some legislative action that we can go out there and champion this. And again, this is just stupid. Because then the guy comes back, "Well, that's like victim blaming. We need you to tell us what to do." What? You want white people to tell black people what to do? Does not compute. But
you don't want to know what black people. You don't want to know what Hillary wants you to do. Trust me.
She wants to bring you to heel. You're super predators. Bring them to heel.
All in prison and.
Well, and that's
even worse.
All they wanted was her to apologize and say she's had a change of heart from '96 to now, and instead she gets off to crazy women. And you know, talk about crazy women. You know who Hillary Clinton says she idolizes and her presidency would most resemble?
Oh, who's that?
Oh, a little German woman by the name of Angela Merkel.
Oh, Mother Merkel.
Mother Merkel.
Mein Führer.
That's right. And you know what's happening in Germany right now? I'm sure you do. Of course you do. To the audience may not know because nobody talks about this on the news because it's not politically correct. But
It's a mess.
according to BBC News, for the first time since the Cold War, the German government is advising citizens to stockpile food and water for use in a national emergency. Citizens are advised to store enough food to last them 10 days because initially a disaster might put national emergency services beyond reach. 5 days water, that's 2 liters, a half gallon, per person daily is advised. The German news website Frankfurter Allgemeine butchered that, didn't I? Said the new concept was set out in a 69-page German Interior Ministry document. The document said an attack on German territory requiring conventional defense of the nation is unlikely, which means they're not talking about a standing army. Wonder what else they're talking about in Germany. I don't know. But it said that a major security threat to the nation in the future could not be ruled out, so civil defense measures were necessary. And another piece of news from Deutschland, from Reuters. German right-wing leader backs citizens' right to arm themselves. They want their guns back. I wonder why they want their guns back. I have
Yeah.
no idea. No idea what.
Maybe an invading horde?
Oh, I wonder what Germany. Express.co.uk. Germany's migrant crisis turns into a nightmare, as 80% of refugees have no documents. That's 1.1 million recorded refugees. Huh? Could any of this be connected? I don't know. I'm sure what they're really worried about is those dang British people bombing them at night again. That's kind of what it is. We'll be back to discuss Angela Merkel in Germany after the break. Christie.
I didn't like him until the debates.
I know. I never used to like him either. I still don't like his politics, but as a person, he's probably one of my favorite politicians. Kind of like Pompeo. I don't much agree with all of his politics, but as a person, he's my favorite politician. Okay. Let's get back into the Germany mind here. Okay. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler. We left you off previewing Angela Merkel's destruction of Germany, which Hillary Clinton promises she will bring to the United States. And this is according to The Express. Germany's migrant crisis turns into a nightmare as 80% of refugees have no documents. That's 80%. And they seized almost 5,000 fake identification documents just while searching traveling migrants in Germany. And now, according to the official numbers, which, I mean, yeah, right. Yeah, right. 1.1 million migrants. It can't be. That's like saying they've got 10,000 in the United States, and you go to the mall, and it's like, what are all these people doing here? 10,000, my ass. And so, at 1.1 million, they say 80% do not have documents. If they don't have documents, how can you say there's 1.1 million? It's totally nonsensical to me.
They probably have in the several million by now.
I would certainly think so. And you know, one thing that Laura Southern reported when she went to, I'm going to butcher the French name. What is it, Calais?
Cologne?
Calais, the jungle. The jungle at Calais.
Oh.
And I know I'm butchering that name. Sorry, French people. Not really. And one thing she said is, there's no women, there's no children. The kids she could find, the media is all like hovering around with cameras, like, oh, we found the kids, get a tight shot. And it's all military-age men, not from Syria.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we go back. Germany says they have your food and water and supplies for all this time. And the German right wing, I like how they call it right wing, by the way, the Alternative for Deutschland party. Mm-hmm. They call it right wing. It's really just, hey, can we enforce the existing laws, maybe?
Yeah.
Kind of like Donald Trump. Hey, can we just do that wall that you guys signed a bill for like a decade ago? Can we just do that thing you said we were going to do? And all of a sudden you're a right-wing extremist for saying, hey, let's follow the existing laws, right?
Yeah.
But, for anybody in the know, this all makes sense. For these liberals, they must all be like, I don't get it. What's happening? Isn't Germany safe?
Yeah, they're so safe. What, they have 4 attacks in a week and a half?
Oh, yeah.
Last month?
And I remember reading a report, and this could be fabricated again, internet anonymous sources, but a journalist said he spoke to his friend in Germany who lived near the McDonald's where that horrific attack happened. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, really bad attack, we don't know why it was caused, we don't know who did it. And the guy just texted back to the guy, does Allahu Akbar not mean anything to you? Does that maybe give you an idea?
Yeah.
It's like they're totally 100% deluded.
Yeah, they are. They've been brainwashed to the max.
And
apparently.
Then, again, you've got the Alternative for Deutschland people who, they want an alternative for Deutschland. Oh, my God. Which is Germany for those other Kansans who didn't know that, maybe. Mm-hmm. And they call them the populist Alternative for Germany party has spoken out in favor of arming themselves with guns in self-defense devices following a series of violent attacks like month. And just listen to how they describe these people. The anti-immigrant AfD has won growing popular support in Germany due in part to Germany's migrant crisis, which has seen more than 1 million, refugees arrive over the last year, and it now has seats in 8 of Germany's 16 state assemblies. And this is a quote from them. Many people are increasingly feeling unsafe. Every law-abiding citizen should be in a position to defend themselves, their family, and their friends. We all know how long it takes until the police can get to a scene, and especially in sparsely populated places. Known for her fiery speeches to AfD supporters, Petri sparked an uproar earlier this week when she called for German police to be allowed to use firearms against illegal migrants. It's totally insane. Illegal migrants. What?
Yeah.
These people are being elevated to the point where it's like, Germans come our way down here, we gotta protect the migrants. They're our new tax base. And there's 2 kind of conflicting theories. Now I want to get your view. I think that they want the migrants because they think they're going to pay taxes, and then that way the upper echelons of the corrupt classes, this is all across the West, they need a new tax base or else things are going to get bad and fast. The other thought is, and I disagree with this, is they just want to destabilize civilization so they can then use the manufactured crisis to take more control. I don't think they're that smart.
I'm going with that one, the latter.
You see, we don't agree on everything.
That could be the only possible scenario why they do it, because Germany was the European superpower, for more or less, throughout the entire EU, and now they've brought these millions of uneducated and so on people who cared nothing for their culture to come in and basically destroy everything, which they're already doing. And I see this playing out probably pretty bad. Well,
it's going to be bad no matter what. But see, and I agree with all of that, except I don't. The books are dead. They can't keep cooking the books. They can't, it's like in the United States.
I almost see this playing out exactly what happened pre-Nazi area. Bring all these people in, they destroy your culture, You get another party rising up who wants them all out and everything, and bingo, you got Hitler #2 coming to Germany.
Feeding right into their BS. The alternative for Deutschland Party, it's like it's conservative. It's classic American conservatism in Germany, but they brand it as fascist and anti-immigrant, and they use all this guttural tone. They say
Well,
it's
I'm just
dark.
saying, I wouldn't be surprised.
Now, you are right about one thing. There are legitimate fascist parties all across Europe that are gaining legitimacy because the media, the establishment politicians won't talk about it. But I maintain, this is still my view, it's because it's like here in the United States. There's no way the people who are alive right now, if you confiscated all the wealth from every billionaire in America, you couldn't pay off the national debt. You couldn't not even dream, not close, nowhere near, let alone the unfunded liabilities. So, and they're getting to the point where they're saying, yeah, we're going to need another $4 trillion in quantitative easing to not implode in the next 6 months. They literally just said that. And so what do you do to get more tax base? You import people. And, you know, they're not ever going to be as productive as a domestic population, but what's the alternative? You give tax credits to married couples to have kids and stay married maybe. Well, that's really nice, except, you know, it's going to take 18 years for those kids to become taxpayers minimum. And in all that time, you have to fund their school, their education, their health, their everything, because it's a nanny state.
Well, I want you to know how the Federal Reserve works. You just know what a joke it all is anyway, because 90% of that debt's totally fake.
Well, they, you know.
Yeah, it's non-existent. It's just BS numbers.
Give it from here to here to here. So there you have it. There's two conflicting ideas, and maybe we'll come back to this. I think it's sheer stupidity mixed with the fact that we got to get some money, guys. We got to get some money. And you think, how would you describe what you think?
Well, just like you said, it's a plan to destabilize all of Europe to then bring in a new form of government, a problem, reaction, solution.
This guy's getting good. He's putting words in my mouth. All right, that's The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert.
I'm Craig Chrysler.
We'll be back next week. Good deal.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, any potential live viewers who may have stuck in for this whole experience. We didn't announce it, so if you found